Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning All-Land. I am so excited for this Friday because we have Macallan in the house. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. So, right off the bat, you're a local ambassador here in LA. Why did you choose to work with Macallan?
You know, I was behind the bar making really, really elaborate cocktails for 10 years. Sometimes it'll take me hours and hours just to prep one component for a cocktail. And when I get home, I'm not going to go through all that fuss just for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but that being said, my palate kind of got spoiled a little bit. I was craving complexity and layers. Yeah. So single malt scotch category was a very natural thing to gravitate to because it is so inherently complex. And the best part about it is get home and just and it's ready to go.
Like a one click. It's like one click.
This is literally like a spiritual practice for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
It's a ritualistic, it's a bonding experience.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of history around it and all kinds of stuff. Tell us a little bit about that kind of culture, because there's people watching that don't really understand
Sure.
why whiskey is such a
Sure.
special thing to
Sure,
people.
and especially again the single malt category and the Macallan has so much heritage. It's been around since 1824. We have just such a beautiful process. We're distilling on some of the smallest stills. We grow our own barley on our estate. It's a proprietary strain of barley. But I think what really sets Macallan apart is our wood program. So we spend more per barrel than any other distillery, 10 times the industry standard. Wow. And when you factor in the fact that all of the color in a perfect world, we'll touch on that in a minute, but all of the color and about 80% of the flavor and aromatics is coming from the wood. So that's definitely a very, very important step in the process. And there's different types of oak that are going to give you different flavors. You know, how many times the barrel has been used, what did that barrel previously hold? These are all, very, very important variables in addition to time in regards to the maturation.
When I was looking up on the Macallan website, you mentioned there was a spiritual home and even
Yes.
6 pillars to the brand. Can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our spiritual home is Easter Elke's house. It sits on an estate in Speyside. Some of these other pillars are curiously small stills. So we distill on tiny stills because we have these very, very robust oak casks that we're using. And Macallan uses a lot of sherry casks. Sherry is a fortified wine from Spain that we season the inside of the barrel with. But this is, again, a very robust cask. So we want a very viscous, new make spirit that can stand up to that flavor. When we're distilling, with all distillation, the stuff that comes off the still at the beginning and the end is not really what you want. Especially some of the stuff that comes off at the beginning. That's the stuff that moonshiners didn't know to cut, and it had people going blind.
You're talking way over
There's
some of our
thousands of
heads.
different types of alcohol that evaporate at different temperatures. Wow. So we want to just really isolate a very, very small cut, and the pickier the distiller, the smaller cut from that middle cut you take, and Macallan takes one of the smallest cuts in the industry, and that's all before it goes into those really
So let's break it down for
casks.
LA. Like, where do I go? If I'm going, you know what, I'm feeling like some serious whiskey, or a scene where there's a lot of whiskey drinkers. Where's the hottest places, would you say, around LA?
Oh, you know what? That's almost an impossible
Well, let's give a
question to
shout out
answer.
to one of my favorite whiskey bars where we met, actually, Lost Property Bar on Hollywood and Vine. That's a great one. They have over 200 different whiskeys, but Macallan is its finest. We did a blind whiskey tasting, and that was everybody's favorite.
Oh, really?
Hands down.
Fascinating.
And this is quite an array. We went with our executive producer, Andy, and he was like, oh, I'm a Macallan guy. And I like the collection. So we've got a couple special pieces from the collection with us right now, right?
It certainly does.
Break it down for us.
All right, so this is currently available. This is our rare cask. This is made up from the top 1% of our stock, aging in our warehouses. But your producer, Andy, has some really old and rare bottles that have been extinct for quite a while. So there's some really interesting stuff here.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Absolutely.
He knows the best of everything.
Sure,
Yeah.
certainly.
What does it mean when it's extinct?
It means they stopped producing that specific expression. So
Wait,
1824 is when the distillery was founded. Yep.
okay, this bottle's not from 1824.
No, certainly.
Oh my God, I should have touched this. Never mind, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Wow.
25-year-old, and it's an anniversary edition. So this was a one-off bottling that they did
Cool.
several years ago.
Oh, how interesting.
Well, we can party with you all weekend long. We have to take a little break, but we come back, we're going to bring everyone back, and maybe we can
Do a little taste.
do a little
That was
spirit,
awesome.
because they call it, from a spiritual perspective, they call it spirit because when you drink a lot, you're actually calling some spirits. They're able to like embody your being when you are too drunk. So it's actually like that's some of the spirituality.
I'm my best
So
self
I'm
after
curious to
3.
know. So you guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back.